This is a reminder video on how I create the magic loop, also known as magic ring or magic circle. I've used it in a blanket that I created a few years ago. It was from a pattern, paid for pattern in a book, Harry Potter's Official Knitting Book by Tanis Gray, and I need to use it now in a free Ravelry pattern by Heather and Hops, and I just need to make a reminder video so I know how to do this in the future because I had to reteach myself. So if anyone is interested in the pattern, it is called Fuggle's Critmas Dice Bag. And this is what it looks like in its finished form. And here is Heather's information. Heather and Hops. She has a really nice podcast on YouTube showing her knitting journey over the years. So this particular pattern requires a skein of 535 yards of fingering weight yarn. I'm using, because I don't have one skein of that amount of yarn, I'm using 3 to make sure I have enough. This is Gingerbread House by Vita Lifestyle. This one I believe I purchased from Long Dog Yarn, but I don't have the tag anymore, so I'm going off of memory. This one glows in the dark under black lights, and this was made by Merman Fibers. I will need a 6 inch, or not, sorry, 6 inch, but the size 6 crochet hook, along with size 6 knitting needles, and I'm going to use magic loop. And I will also need a beginning of the round marker. I just don't know which one I'll pick yet. These are new. I purchased these from a shop in Italy. The designer's name is Elvira Carangi, which I know I'm butchering her last name. I'll put a link to her shop or write out where her shop is on Instagram. This one is Chihiro from Spirited Away, a Studio Ghibli movie. If you're into anime, super detailed. And this one, I'm not sure if she created off the top of her head or if it's from a specific story, but she's just adorable. And I love the glitter on her curls. So I need to give her a name because there was no name for her in the shop when I purchased her. So to get started with the magic ring or magic loop, magic circle, you're to take your tail, and you can either use 2 or 3 fingers, but you definitely need to at least have your pinky out if you're going to use 3 fingers. If you use 2, keep those 2 out, you know, like Star Trek. Live long and prosper. So you take your tail, put it over your fingers, and let it pull on top so that it's on the bottom. Now what you're going to do is take the working yarn, and crisscross right on top of that tail and hold it, and then run it parallel like a road on top of your fingers and hold it with your pinky if you're using these 3 fingers. You're to take your crochet hook, go under the first strand, grab the second, and twist your crochet hook and leave it kind of loose. You can see there's a hole because you need to get this strand through this loop. So I'm going to get, I'm going to get up under there and pull through all 3 of my strands, hold it, take my fingers out. The working yarn is on the right, and I have the tail inside of the ring. So if I pull on the tail, the entire ring shrinks. That's the magic. If I pull on the working yarn, it just tightens everything on the hook. So I'm going to show that again. Take your tail. You can put it over 3 or 2 fingers, whatever you prefer. You just need to make sure that you put the tail on top and pull it down. Hold it with your thumb. Take the working yarn and crisscross underneath. Run it parallel like a roadway on top of your fingers. Take your hook, go under the first, grab the second, and twist this hook around towards you. And again, leave it kind of loose. You want to see a little hole under there. You want this strand, so you'll go under, and you're going to pull right through. Okay. Holding that loop, I'm going to take my fingers out. My working yarn is here on the right, and my tail is trapped inside of the ring. So for this pattern, I'm going to tighten this using the working yarn. I'm going to get it ready on my hand. And I don't mind that the tail is inside the ring, because I'm going to end up trapping it basically. So for this pattern, I'm going to make 1 chain. And if you've never crocheted before, to make a chain, just take, basically think of it like a bird beak, and then this is the worm. Take your bird beak around the worm and pull it through. It's a lot easier when you're not using 3 different strands of yarn. So there's my chain 1, because what was there was just a slip knot. It didn't mean anything. But this is my chain 1. Now I need to make 8 single crochets inside the ring. So I'm going to think of it like a bird beak. Take that bird beak inside the ring, around the back, grab that worm. Now I've got 2 loops. Grab that worm, and I'm going to hold those loops, kind of pulling them down, and pull that worm right through both loops. That's 1. Into the ring, grab, and I stick my finger down in there to give it a little tug so everything stretches. So that was 1 there. This is 2. 3. 4. And again, my tail is trapped in there. I don't care because I'm trapping it on purpose. So that was 4 there. Go in, grab, 5, in, grab, 6, in, grab, 7, in, grab, 8. So now I have 8 single crochets on this ring. Now what I'm going to do is close this up by taking the tail. I'm just going to hold everything here, and I'm going to pull. Just kind of move things around a little bit, because what I want is that V, almost like a braid on the outside. that working yarn out of the way and continue to pull on the tail so it tightens up. And there it is. I'm going to pull the working yarn close and then pull them both a little bit. Now I know there's a little gap right there that's going to get closed up. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'll take Chihiro. It's a little bit lighter than the other one. I'm going to pop her in here so I know that that's the beginning. I don't want to get lost. So I've done the 8 single crochets, and that's how you do magic loop. So if you're here just for that, I hope that helps. I know it'll help me when I need to do magic ring or magic circle again. But I'm going to continue for a little bit and work on this pattern. So round 1, I need to do 2 single crochets in every single stitch back to the beginning of my round, but I need to do it 16 times. So my first stitch is this tiny little V, and again, because I'm using 3 strands, it's going to be a little difficult to see. Just kind of wiggle it in if I can. I think that's under all of them. Okay. 1. Now it's clear that I can see the loop I need to go back into that little hole. Do it again inside the same spot. That's 2. So I'm making 16 stitches doing this. So that's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's 16. Okay. Round 2 is 1 single crochet stitch and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch all the way back to the beginning of the round. That'll be 24 stitches. So I'm going to move this. Actually, I can keep it there. Let's see. So really this is the beginning. Let's see. I can count this and make sure it matches. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I doing this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yep. Okay. So this guy's the beginning of the round right here. I'm going to pull my stitch marker and stick it right there. Hopefully it doesn't get caught too much. Need 24 stitches. Single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Here's 10. Here 11, 12, 13, 14, in the same hole 15, 16, 17, same hole 18, 19, 20, same hole 21, 22, 23, same hole 24. Okay, and there's my stitch marker. I'm going to zoom out. Hopefully I wasn't too much out of focus. This reminds me of stuff that I would do as a kid in art class, almost like basket weaving. Round 3 is 2 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Okay, so, and that would be 32 stitches around. So if I count this just to triple check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and I just completely basically had a brain fart. Let's see. 1, 2, 2 single crochets. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Yep. I don't know why I find it to be a little difficult doing these magic rings, finding the beginning of the round, because it looks like I want to just jump to this stitch, but I really need to be like way down in here. So let me do this. I'm going to move, because it's spiraling and it's changing as you go up, it looks like it shifts. It's kind of like a weird optical illusion for me. And if I want this hole to be tightened, I can just pull on the tail and it should tighten up. Yep, there it goes. You don't want to break the yarn, but you can pull it tighter. And then you can always weave it in at the end. It's a little bit of a bulge right there, so I can always push that in and then just weave in over it since I have a long tail. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the same, 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the same, 13, 14, 15, and right there, 16 in the same hole, 17, 18, 19, and 20 in the same, 21, 22, 23, and 24 in the same hole, 25, 26, 27, and 28, 29, 30, 31, and right in that same hole, 32. And there it is. That's the base of this bag. So that's how you create the magic circle and then the base of this bag. So what I'm going to need now are, pattern says you can use double points or cable needle. So I'm going to get rid of my hook. I'm going to pull out my crochet or my knitting needles, get rid of my crochet hook. Put my needle on. And I'm going to pick up and knit around to one stitch before the last single crochet stitch and put the stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. So let's see if I can do this, because I've never done this pattern before, so it's kind of like a knit with me, and let's see how it works out. pick up and knit around to one stitch before the last. So I'm going to move my stitch marker now so I don't have to think about it. So if you're my last, one stitch before the last. Okay. So to pick up, I'm just going to go under the V's all around this circle, just by pulling it right through. Let me do that again to make sure. Just going into that hole under the V, grab the yarn and pull it through. Okay. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. $12, $13. I'm going to pull this thing. There we go. That was the last one right there. Here's 14, 15, 16. If it's going to do what I think it's going to do, I'm going to try and split this thing in half. $17, $18, $19, $20, $21, $22, $23, $24, $27, 28, 29, 30, 31, making sure I'm not missing a stitch or a string of yarn. 31, and here's 32, and there's my last stitch. Okay, pick up and knit around to one stitch before the last stitch. This is the one stitch before that last stitch. Place marker to mark the beginning of the round. Yep. Okay. Let's see if this works with Magic Loop. Put this one in working position. Okay, I'm just basically making the bag, the base, pop out. And this is bulging because it's the tail, that's all. Get my working yarn back in position. Your one stitch before. Knit 3, knit through back loop 8 times to make 40 stitches. Let's see what we get. And I'm just triple checking everything here. Yep. Seems odd that this would be going back. Pick up and knit around 1 stitch before the last. I'm going to move my stitch marker over 1. And I'm going to grab this one. Pull it through. Okay. Let's see, how many do we have? It's somehow increasing. Let's try it. One, 2, 3. And I'm going to triple check something. Knit front back. She's increasing with a KFB. That's what that is. So it's knit 3, knit through the front, knit through the back, to make 2 new stitches. One, 2, 3. And I hope you're knitting on something or crocheting on something and relaxing. I just figured I'd do a little reminder and a little bit of knitting. That was 1, 2, 3. Knit through front, knit through back. Grabbing all 3 strands. 1, 2, 3. Knit through front, knit through back. Okay. This is my tail. I just want to kind of get it out of my way. I'll stuff it down in the center as much as I can. Okay. One, 2, 3. Increase, knit through the front and knit through the back to increase. 1, 2, 3, knit through the front and get back in there, knit through the back, increase, 1, 2, 3, knit through the front, knit through the back, 1, weird, I don't know where that came from, let's see, I'm going to undo this one just to make sure, yep, that was the increase, 1, 2, 3, knit through the front, knit through the back, and I see what that was. So I should not have moved my marker because now I have an extra stitch. I'm going to hang this here and see how many I should have. 40 stitches, 20 on each side. So let's see what we have. It's kind of hard to see when you've got 3 strands working as one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think you're going to end up having 21 on you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh no, you're 20. Triple check just in case. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. No, it worked out. Okay. Note 20. This little guy is still hanging out here. So to fix this, I'm simply going to reduce a stitch. Get this magic loop out of the way. Where's my working yarn? Here it is. So actually to reduce, I'm just not going to keep this increase. Get rid of that. There we go. And I'm just going to knit and knit. I just should not have moved my stitch marker on the other side. So now let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, move you. That's what it is. There, my magic loop was not fully put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. As my grandfather would say, Now we're cooking with Crisco. So now I'm in order. So now I've got a total of 40 stitches and I can continue. That's the great thing about knitting. You can just play with it, and if you find one little mistake, it's an easy fix usually. It's not the end of the world. I just need to remember to use that motto when I'm working all day. Because work can definitely feel like it's the end of the world when it gets hectic. Round 2, knit 4 and increase to make 48 stitches, which would be 24 on each needle. Wow, I did that math quick. Yay. I don't like numbers, so not unless it's helping my bank account. So let's go ahead and knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit through the front, knit through the back to make the increase. So yeah, this is an impromptu knit with me, I guess. So I hope you have something to work on and have a nice cup of coffee, tea, wine, whatever your fancy is, a cup of water, some kind of a snack, just some quiet knitting. 3, 4, increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. There is something wonky with this one. I'm going to pull this all out. Yep, my strand is not fully on my needle. Fixing that. Now I can increase. Oh, come on, work with me, yarn. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Increase. I figured let me knit on something small since I finished my shawl, the exponential shawl that I was working on. Sorry. Hope that did not just mess up someone's visual. Greatly apologize. My fingers hit the phone camera. But I just need something small to work on before I go into a larger project. And the shawl came out beautifully. I just don't know if I want to keep it or throw it in the gift knitting pile. Knowing me, I'll stick it in the gift knitting pile. That way I can kind of get through my stash. And I already have 2 shawls that I made for myself, which technically my kid took from me. He likes to wrap himself up in them while he watches cartoons or plays video games. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. And I still need to make my Japanese cherry blossoms socks with the geisha on them. A blanket for one of my kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, And my dad has requested a Harry Potter blanket in emerald green yarn. So now I just have to purchase a horde's worth of yarn to make that. But that should only take a month to make. That's not bad. It's using DK weight yarn. Large needle size, 3. Here, that was the increase, 3. Yep, 4. There we go, increase. I know for my son's yarn, for my son's blanket, my oldest kid, I'm going to definitely stash bust by using up every mini skein in all of my advent calendars. Because I tend to buy advent calendars because they're absolutely beautiful, and then I don't do anything with them, but once in a blue moon. So I will make a bunch of basically granny squares, just knitted squares, and then sew them all together. So now I'm going to knit 5 and increase. I figure that's a great way to use up my yarn. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. Increase. Does anyone else do that with their advent calendars? Use them for massive blanket projects or kind of like stash busting? I can never figure out what to use them for, because you get one big skein and 24 mini skeins, and then I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I just never have a project in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if anyone would like to share in the comments what you use your advent calendars for, if you get advent calendars, that'd be nice to see what others are using their advents for. 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. There is one blanket that I really want to make. It's a hexagon blanket. I don't recall the pattern name. It's buried inside of my Knit Companion library. But it's a Parisian pattern, and it's absolutely divine. But it requires a lot of yarn because it's massively huge. It looks like it's for a queen-size bed. And I just don't feel like buying that much yarn. At least not right now. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Increase. 2, 3, 4, 5, and increase. I think I'll finish this round and then end this little video. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, you're tied together. Let's see. It's the There you go. So you're an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 5 is what I was doing. Increase. Knit through the front, knit through the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if anyone stuck around watching this and was knitting on something, let me know what you were knitting on or crocheting on. It's nice to be able to interact with other makers. And I honestly did not think we'd have this many people subscribed. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. So I should have, well, actually, you know what? I'll go one more round. Just one more round. Knit 6. Does anyone else do that where you're like, oh, I'm going to stop right here, and then you're like, oh no, wait, I can do one more round. 3. But as I was saying before, squirrel brain set in, I never thought having just my little reminder videos pop up for myself would trigger other people to use the videos or find them useful. So I cannot believe there are over 200. I don't know what makers. I don't like the word followers. There are over 200 makers that hang out with me when I have my videos posted and have a look and a listen. That's really cool. Thanks, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're the increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6. And if there are any techniques that I'm not thinking of or I'm not needing to use right now that someone needs help with and would like a reminder video, please let me know and I will create a reminder video. That way it can help other people. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Increase. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it definitely looks like a little bag is being formed here. I really don't need my stitch marker anymore, but I'll let Chihiro hang out with us because she's cute. 6. Increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, not again. 6. Increase. 1, and increase. And I will stop now because it's been 53 minutes and counting. I figured I would just do the magic ring reminder, but I haven't knitted all day, so I kind of needed this. So if you stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate you sitting and crafting with me. But we've got a little bit of a project going on. It's the base of a little Fuggle Critmas dice bag. I'm just going to call it my Muggle bag instead of Fuggle's Critmas dice bag. I'm going to call it my Muggle notion bag. So yeah, well, that's how you do the magic loop in the beginning. And if you stuck around, thanks so much. And I will pop back later on with a little bit more of this bag being knitted up.